December 10th, 2010, from the stylish high-tech underground studios of Ribbit Media in weirdly windy Warwick, Rhode Island, this is NewsUndies. For December 10th, 2010, this is NewsUndies, all the news that shouldn't be news. I'm Paul Torville, with this look back at 2010. 2010 was quite a year, and while Tiger Woods, Mel Gibson, and Lindsay Lohan certainly got more than their share of camera time, there were some other stories that popped up which were quite entertaining, if a little horrifying. Here's a look back. Now that Jay Leno has left NBC's primetime lineup and gone back to his coital background noise shack in the woods, it appears viewers are ready to forgive NBC and take another look at its primetime lineup. Well, that's nice. Okay, England is a little funny. They drive on the wrong side of the road, and they eat incomprehensible food. But setting that aside for the moment, Specsavers, an English eyeglass chain like LensCrafters in the USA, set up 7-year-old Taylor Dawn with a pair of glasses. Taylor complained of headaches and nausea for 2 years after that. Somehow, the corrective lenses seemed to correct nothing. Time passes. Finally, Taylor's mom, Beverly, obviously the sharpest spoon in the drawer, took Taylor in for an eye exam. Guess what? The left lens was on the right side and the right lens was on the left side. Specsavers, for its part, was contrite, giving an apology and a $5 bottle of lens cleaner as recompense. A Specsaver director was quoted as saying, "We take customer care extremely seriously." Clearly. Remember Richard Finch? How about Harry Wayne Casey? No? Nothing? Casey and the Sunshine Band ring a bell? Richard Finch was the co-founder, producer, and former bass player for Casey and the Sunshine Band, along with Harry Wayne Casey. On March 23rd, Finch was arrested in Newark, Ohio, accused of, quote, having sexual contact with a teenage boy, end quote. Since the arrest, Finch has retained attorneys, and on April 2nd, so it couldn't possibly be a joke, he was officially charged in the ironically named Licking County with 16 sex charges, including sexual imposition, unlawful sexual conduct with a minor, and compelling prostitution. Hard to believe that the imagination partly responsible for such Studio 54 anthems as Shake Your Booty and Get Down Tonight might also lead to sexual imposition and compelling prostitution. A German company has developed a cologne for men called, wait for it, Vulva. The original formula contained a combination of urine, sweat, and something they call female arousal from women of all ages. What man doesn't want to smell like a Ya Wen of Huizhou, China, was hit by a speeding van, landed in a coma for 5 days, and when she awoke, she had taken up smoking cigarettes and drinking beer. This is not the first time people have had substantial changes in personality or behavior after coming out of a coma. What sets Ya Wen's case apart is that she's 3. No lie. The governor of New Jersey is complaining that the MTV show The Jersey Shore is what's giving New Jersey its bad reputation. Yeah, the chemical plants and oil refineries have nothing at all to do with it. The history of organized crime and corruption is not a factor. New Jersey's reputation was pure as the driven snow before Snooki and the Situation. Sounds like a 70s pop band. Part of what makes a democratic society great is the fact that virtually any adult can run for public office. Even a man like BasilMarceauSr.com. I mean, okay, I know of nothing that suggests that he's a bad man, but he also doesn't seem to be the best man for the job of governor. You need to check out these resources if you're a Tennessee voter. Seriously. Former Arkansas governor, former GOP presidential hopeful, former evangelical pastor, bass player, and media personality Mike Huckabee is now known, in part, for his TV show on Fox News called, strangely enough, Huckabee. While Huckabee tends to appear more calm and rational-ish than many of his Fox News stablemates, Let's also remember that he was one of 3 candidates on a 2007 debate who raised their hands to indicate they did not agree with the theory of evolution. So, Huckabee recently had as a guest on his show, sitting down, Tim LaHaye, co-author of the delightful and disturbingly popular Left Behind series of novels. Oh, and Mrs. LaHaye, too. To say Huckabee was a sympathetic interrogator is to seriously understate the finesse with which he tossed their salads. Huckabee deftly led the LaHayes through their loony talking points and stroked them with koosh-ball questions and gently supportive reaction shots. It was a stunning echo chamber feedback loop of hokum and humbug. After nearly 44 days of rowing, Levin Brown, Ray Carroll, Don Lennox, and Livar Nystad arrived at St. Mary's Harbor in the Isles of Scilly in England from New York, breaking a record which has stood since 1896. In the intervening 114 years, reliable steamship travel, cars, airplanes, nuclear power, rockets to the moon, cheap, tiny, and immensely powerful computers, cell phones, GPS, and the internet have gotten here. Well, that's all for this edition of News Undies. Remember, News Undies is a weekly show. We'll be back on Friday, December 17th with the final installment of our look back at 2010. If you see news that shouldn't be news, email your story tips to undies@newsundies.com. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm Paul Torville. After that, I might be struggling to compile a CD of Kwanzaa carols. I'm sure there's traditional Kwanzaa music, but I don't think I've ever heard any. Oh, that's a good mug.